Shalom, Chavarim. Let's continue with Matthew chapter 7, and it looks like the summary is don't judge. You should not judge that you be not judged. You should not judge by your own judgment, but by Yahweh's righteous judgment. Deuteronomy 1:17, Psalm 37, 30, 31. Yeshua teaches that justice, judgment, is one of the more important matters of Torah. Matthew 23:23, but if you judge by your own standards, then Yahweh will use your own standards to judge you. Wow. How poignant that is these days when everybody is judging everybody else. By what standards? What you do on the internet, what you say on social media. There's a lesson here for us. Let's look at some of these references. Deuteronomy 1:17. Deuteronomy 1:17. Not you shall respect persons in judgment, the small as well as the great. You shall hear not. You shall be afraid in presence of any man, for the judgment is Yah's, and the case that is too hard for you, bring to me, and I will hear it. And look at that word for hear, vishoma tev. So Shema is listen, and the prayer that we say a lot is Shema Yisrael, Yah Eloheinu, Yah Echad. Hear Israel, Yah is our Yah. Yah is one Echad. And that's the monotheism. A Psalm of David. Not do fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity. Oh, that's good advice. Don't be envious of all the stuff you see out there in the world today. Verse 2. For by the judgment that you judge, you will be judged, and by the measure that you measure, it will be measured to you. Now, that word measure implies scales of justice to me. So let's look at 81, Exodus 21:24. Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Now, I caution people to remember the warnings about taking this too literally. Ain, ayin is an I, ayin, which is also a letter. And these are the references to I. The eye which saw him sees him not. As the apple first of the eye, the shadow of your wings. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed. Eye can also be an evil eye. Tooth is shane. Grinding of teeth. There'll be gnashing of teeth. Hand is yad. Authority, guard. Joseph's hand. That's significant for some reason. Ephraim's head. Okay, Joseph laid his right hand on Ephraim's head, his son. The hand of Yah, the hand of the Egyptians. So as human beings, our hands are very important because of our thumb. Foot is regel. Where does your foot go? Where are you walking? Who are you following? The foot may crush. Let not the foot of pride come. That's interesting. Not let come against me the foot of pride, gawa. Scales are his pride. Shut up together. Fully recompenses the proud doer. Let not the foot of pride come. Come the foot of pride, the hand of the wicked. Pride is their necklace. Rod. It is a rod of pride. All that from foot. Burn for burn. Kevia. Wound. Pesa. Stripe. Habura. Leviticus 24:20. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he has caused disfigurement of a man, so shall it be done to him. Okay, now when I see these comparisons, I also think of the scales of justice. And Jonathan Cahn has a new book out, and he is showing how that the sins of countries are repaid over time, and he's connecting it to the Jubilee years. So I find that interesting. Take it with a grain of salt, as everything else. Deuteronomy 19:21, and not shall pity your eye. Life shall be for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. So why shall not you pity your eye? Enika, your eye. The cha is your, the cha at the end means your, thine eye, pity. It's going to be hard to look at this, but do not pity. Justice needs to happen. True justice. Verse 3. And why do you see the twig that is in the eye of your brother, and you not observe the beam that is in your eye? Ah, you get it. Verse 4, or how do you say to your brother, allow me to remove the twig from your eye, and behold, a beam is in your eye? Hypocrite, first remove the beam from your eye, then decide for yourself to remove the twig from the eye of your brother. So take care of yourself, your own sins, repent for them first. Now, this is an interesting verse here. You should not hang earrings on dogs, and you should not place your pearls before pigs, that they should not trample them by their feet, and they overtake and wound you. Okay, 82. Tithon, hang, was misunderstood as talon, to give. Kudesha, earrings, was misunderstood as kudsha, holy. The picture of hanging earrings on dogs dovetails with giving pearls to pigs, and the symbolism of the two animal groups could not be clearer. The dogs represent apostate Jews, the pigs apostate Gentiles who are ignorant of Yahweh. Either way, the lesson here is do not give what is precious to those who will not appreciate the value. Tithon and Kudesha. Let's look in Aramaic. Verse 6. This is Titlun and Kudsha, to hang earrings. Verse 7. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. So the important point about asking came up this past Tuesday, because Ken asked to know more of the truth, and it was given. For anyone that asks will receive, and that seeks will find, and to him that knocks, it will be opened to him. So Ken knocked on Abba's door, and it was opened. Or whom among you fathers, if son asks of him for bread, why would you hold out to him a rock? 83. The word here is gaura. The context references sons, so the protector male in this case is a father. And let's look at that word, gaura. Ein menuv menuchun gavra. That's the gaura. Verse 10, if he asks a fish of him, why would you hold out to him a snake? And if, therefore, you who are imperfect know to give good gifts to your sons, how so much more your Father who is in Shamayim will give good to those that ask him? How much more? We have no idea. All that which you desire that the sons of men should do for you, also like this do to them. This is for Torah and the prophets, the golden rule. Is that still taught these days to kids? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. 13, enter by the straight door, for wide is the door and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many are they, those that go in it. That's why the straight door I call the narrow bridge, because of a song I learned. The world is a very narrow bridge, but the main thing is to have no fear at all. How narrow the door and straight the road that leads to life, and few are they, those that find it. Beware of false prophets that come among you in the clothing of lambs, but from within are ravenous wolves. 84. See priesthood in appendix. Yes, we should all beware of false prophets, especially profits. 16, but you will know them by their fruits. How are their people really doing? Where are the fruits of their labor? Why do men pick grapes from thorns or figs from thistles? Like this, every good tree bears pleasing fruit, but an evil tree bears evil fruit. I'm reminded of the story of Cain and Abel, that Cain's offering was evil fruit. 18, a good tree is not able to bear evil fruit, and an evil tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut and thrown in the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. 21, it will not be that just anyone who says to me, my master, will enter the kingdom of Shamayim, but whoever does the will of my Father who is in heaven, doing the will of Abba. Many will say to me in that day, my master, by your name have we not prophesied? And by your name have we cast out demons? And by your name have we done many miracles? Not everyone who says master will enter heaven. Shamayim. Verse 23, and then I will profess to them that from everlasting I have not known you. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Kaburis word choice of demum tone is preferred over 19/5's metom, although both present the idea of always, forever, and lasting, everlasting. This usage and spelling is also retained in 933. Demum tone. Let's look at that. Demum tone. But note 86, Psalm 6, 8-9, workers of iniquity is a common phrase in the Tanakh. Iniquity is lawlessness without Torah. Horror has taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake your Torah. Psalm 119:53. Each and every teaching of Yeshua is based on Torah. To be anti-Torah is to be anti-Mashiach. Therefore, every authority will be judged according to whether they uphold Torah or not. According to Yeshua, Torah is the will of my Father. Matthew 7:21 and 12:50. Torah means instruction in righteousness. That's a good phrase to remember. So people who are coming into the Torah can start by learning about the 7 feasts and observing Passover, the Shavuos, and the first fruits is the second day of Passover, and then the holidays in the fall, Rosh Hashanah, which we just had. We're in the middle between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, and then Sukkot, which is living in booths, eating meals in booths, in remembrance of the Exodus from Egypt and how we wandered through the desert with temporary shelter and survived that. So it's an appreciation of gratitude for all that Yah provides and keeps us going. And the 7th feast is the weekly Shabbat. So let's look at the feasts of Yah. And spoke Yahweh to Moses, saying, to speak to the sons of Yisrael, and say to them, the feasts of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be convocations holy, these are my feasts, Moadim. 6 days shall be done work, but the day 7th is a Shabbat of solemn rest, a convocation holy. Any work not shall you do. The Shabbat it is of Yahweh in all your dwellings. Passover. These are the feasts of Yahweh, convocations holy, which you shall proclaim at their appointed times. On the month first of the 4 and 10th month at twilight is Passover, Yahweh's, and 5 on the and 10 day of the month, this feast is of the unleavened bread to Yahweh. 7 days unleavened bread you must eat. On the day first, a convocation holy shall have you. Any work not customary shall you do. But you shall offer an offering made by fire for to Yahweh 7 days. The day 7th shall be a convocation holy. Any work not customary shall you do. First fruits. And spoke Yahweh to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel, and say to them, when you come into the land which I give you, and reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh to be accepted on your behalf. On the day the after Sabbath shall wave it the priest. And you shall offer on that day, when you wave the sheaf, a male lamb without blemish of the first year as a burnt offering to Yah. And its grain offering shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire, for to Yahweh aroma sweet. And its drink offering shall be of wine, 1/4 of a hin. And bread, nor parched grain, nor fresh grain, neither you shall eat, until the same day that this you have brought an offering to your Yah. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Today we observe first fruits by eating a new type of fruit that we don't usually eat during the year. The Feast of Pentecost. And you shall count for yourselves from the day after the Shabbat, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Shabbats completed shall be. Until the day after the Shabbat the 7th shall you number 50 days. Then you shall offer a grain offering new to Yahweh. So I'd like to comment about the 50 days. There is a connection to 50 years of the Jubilee here. 7 times 7 is mirroring creation. From your dwellings you shall bring loaves of wave, 2/2 of an ephah of fine flour. They shall be with leaven, they shall be baked. They are the first fruits to Yahweh. And you shall offer the bread with 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and bull, son of a bull, 1, and rams 2, they shall be as a burnt offering to Yahweh. And with their grain offering and their drink offerings, an offering made by fire for an aroma sweet to Yahweh. So we don't do these sacrifices these days, so there are equivalents which I am not familiar with. And you shall sacrifice kid of the goats, 1 as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs of the first year as a sacrifice of a peace offering. And shall wave the priest them with the bread of the first fruits, a wave offering before Yahweh, with 2 the lambs holy, they shall be to Yahweh for the priest. And you shall proclaim on same day this convocation holy that is to you. Any work not customary shall you do. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. Ledorchem, generations. It's covenant throughout generations. Ordinance. And when you reap the harvest of your land, not you shall wholly reap the corners of your field. When you reap and any gleaning from your harvest, nor shall you gather to the poor. For the stranger you shall leave them. I, Yahweh, am your God, your Yah. So this is related to the book of Ruth, where the corners of the field are left for the poor. The Feast of Trumpets. And spoke to Yahweh Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel, saying, in the month 7th, on the first day of the month, you shall have a Sabbath rest, a memorial, a blowing of trumpets, a convocation holy. Any work not customary shall you do, and you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. So when they say 7th month, what they are referring to is the months starting from Passover, and the 7th month is considered the start of the Jewish New Year. But there are really 4 different New Years in Tanakh. There's also the New Year for trees, which is Tu B'Shvat, the Day of Atonement, or at one-ment, when you're at one with Yah. And spoke to Yah to Moses, and spoke Yah to Moses, saying, also the 10th day of the month 7th, this shall be the day of atonement. It is a convocation holy shall be for you. And you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire to Yah. And on work no shall you do same day this, for is the day of atonement. It is to make atonement for you before Yahweh, your Elohim, Elohechem. For any person who not is afflicted in soul on same day, this shall be cut off from his people. Cut off. From the congregation. Cut off from my presence. And any person who does any work on same day, this, and I will destroy person that from among his people. Manner of work, no, you shall do. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest to you, and you shall afflict your souls. On day 9 of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you shall celebrate your Shabbat. The Feast of Booths, or Sukkot. And spoke Yahweh to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel, saying, 5 and 10, the day of the month 7th, this shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days to Yahweh. On the day first, there shall be a convocation holy. Any work no customary you shall do on it. For 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the day 8th, a convocation holy shall have you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a sacred assembly. It work no customary, and you shall do on it. These are the feasts of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim, convocations to be holy, to offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering and a grain offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything on this proper day. Besides the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your free will offerings, which you give to Yahweh. Also the 5 and 10 on day of the month 7th, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep the feast of Yahweh for 7 days. On that day first, there shall be a Sabbath rest, and on the day 8th, a Sabbath rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the day first the fruit of trees, beautiful branches, palm trees, and the boughs of trees leafy, and willows of the brook. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh, your Yah, for 7 days. So what they're talking about here, the palm branches and the willows, those are called the lulav, and the fruit is called the esrog. And you shall keep it as a feast to Yahweh for 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. In the month 7th you shall celebrate it. In booths you shall dwell for 7 days. All who are native of Yisrael shall dwell in booths. That may know your generations, that in booths I may dwell the sons of Yisrael, when I brought them out of the land of Egypt, Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. So declared Moses the feasts of Yahweh to the sons of Yisrael. '85, '86. Verse 86. Workers of iniquity is a common phrase in Tanakh. Yeah, I read that already. Verse 24. Anyone, therefore, who hears my words, these, and does them, will be likened to a wise man who built his house upon a stone. Yeshua, the stone. Interesting. And descended the rain, and came the rivers, and blew the winds, and they beat on the house, and it did not fall, for its foundation was laid upon a stone. So where is our foundation built? And I'm not talking about the Apple TV Foundation series, which is an adaptation of Isaac Asimov, which has satanic symbolism in it. 26, and anyone who hears my words, these, and does them not, will be likened to a foolish man that built his house upon sand. And descended the rain, and came the rivers, and blew the winds, and they beat on the house, and it fell, and its fall was great. So where are we building? What is our foundation of what we're building our lives on? Is it Torah? And it happened that when Yeshua finished these words, the crowds marveled at his teaching. He would teach them as an authority and not as their scribes and the Pharisees. Yeshua would teach them as an authority. Imagine being taught by Yeshua. Teach me thy statutes, Yeshua. I am nobody special. I've just had experience that has led me to be able to do this for whoever watches. It is Yeshua I need to learn from.